Well, that's good.
So, no, I'm just trying to get back into
The groove.
the groove. The groove. The groove.
I hear that.
That's about it. I mean, I'm not teaching teenagers in a nice white wig about dinosaurs. Wow.
That was freaking funny. The kids loved it too.
Teach them about accidents with
Yep.
gravity.
Dressed up as Newton.
Yeah.
Every time I said, don't let Newton, and I'd pull the hair, I was like, don't let Newton take over your car.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Newton taking over a car is quite hazard.
Exactly. He's a menace.
He is. Just like Dennis.
Mm-hmm. Just like Dennis.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the results of the MRI. It's funny that you had stated that you'll find metal in you.
Mm-hmm.
They did find metal in me.
Oh no.
I have an iron deposit.
That sounds
in my
horrible.
liver.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
So, yay!
Yay! Where'd it come from?
I have hereditary hemochromatosis.
Oh.
It's a biological DNA passed down from parent to child.
Hemochromatosis. That sounds like colorful blood.
Basically, it means liver collects in my not liver. Iron collects in my body, and then it builds up, and it will go from the liver and then goes into other organs throughout my body.
That's horrible. Is it like super difficult to treat?
No, it's usually with diet.
Oh, well.
I don't have the genes. The genomes that I have aren't the ones that lead to lethal premature death.
Oh, okay. That's important.
If that helps.
It's very
I just
much
watch how much iron intake I do, how much food has enriched iron if it's processed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So essentially, beets, no more.
Oh.
No more beets.
That's got a lot of iron.
I still do spinach, but I have to do smaller amounts. I can't do what I would normally do with a whole spinach salad.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that anymore. I have to cut the spinach in a third, and then fill the rest with other types of lettuce. So
that's brutal. Some of that's really brutal.
Yeah. I like funky beats.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know. If I was to be banned from beef, I don't know, man.
Well, technically, I'm already banned from beef from other comorbidities that I have.
Right.
So, I can't do beef. I can't do pork anymore. Pretty much the only thing animal-wise that I'm able to eat is the adult forms of turkey and chicken.
The adult forms. So you can't have eggs.
Yeah, can't do eggs.
Wow.
So, which I'm finding more and more as I'm talking to other family members, that I swear the egg thing is not just me and my family. There's many members of my family that don't eat eggs because they're it makes me feel sick. And I'm like, that's an allergic reaction. It's mild, but it's still an allergic reaction.
Right.
So I'm like, you guys have way more things going on than you probably realize. So
definitely simplified it. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, what you working on there, guy?
I had an idea for a character, which would be anthropologist, and she would travel at light speed instead of using the warp drive things, so that she ended up dropping in every, say, 50 years, and she just travel around at light speed. So it only was like a couple of days for her, but 50 years in the real world would pass. Then she'd drop out, write write up an analysis of the culture and the environment or whatever, and then get back in her spaceship and go around for another 50 years, and then drop out and then write up on the culture and everything like that. Because my thought was, I would love to write up some of these ideas I have on my cultures and stuff like that, but it seems like that'd be super boring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody would really want to read it, but I would. So, so I thought I'd just have an access point, so to speak. So I'm drawing up this character.
Okay.
She's going to be my access point for writing these stories up. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm actually kind of interested in the idea of, what I can write up. The real reason I want to do this is I've got to practice taking field notes.
Gotcha.
I don't even know how to take field notes, and so I'm gonna
for
practice with her.
Is this the classes for college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because in college, I've got to. I mean, at some point, as a scientist, I'm going to have to produce and generate field notes, and I'm not sure if I'm, up to that task yet. So I figured I'll practice doing this. So.
Well, depends on the science.
This would be cultural anthropology. So, I mean, that's what I'm going into college for, is cultural anthropology. So I'm going to need to be able to make concise and useful field notes.
You should go and get the books that are labeled field notes.
Right? Which is what I've done in a couple of places. I've gotten a couple of people's field notes and kind of looked them over. And that's what I was thinking, was I just write them out here in Bellatrix Rising and it'd be fine.
Mm.
So that's what I'm doing.
So basically you're writing a character that may or may not be able to understand ancient Earth.
Right? Well, I was thinking that maybe what happened was that she had been on old Earth, and this was what she decided to do once she left old Earth. Would be, she decided to travel around and do things and examine cultures and stuff like that, and that may have been what she left Earth to do.
Mm.
So I've been kind of thinking about that and kind of going there.
Mm.
But I thought that'd be fun. So, and this way I can practice doing field notes while still learning how to be a cultural anthropologist. And I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a speculative anthropologist out there as a position. So, like, science fiction anthropologist. But I might be the first science fiction anthropologist.
Mm.
Who knows? And it might be one of those things where, as we travel along, we'll see why there are no scientific or futuristic anthropologists. Because everybody will be like, what you're doing is super boring.
Maybe.
I do live of the opinion that if you find something if you find something interesting, other people will find that same thing interesting at some point. Just, you can't guarantee that it'll be popular, but somebody will find this fascinating and will want to read it. Kind of like the Silmarillion, which I'm sure, when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the Cimmerillion, I'm sure he wasn't doing the haha 50 years from now they will make a movie based on that. He was
Actually, the
probably,
Silmarillion is actually fully based off of stories and side things that he wrote down while writing his entire world.
yeah, that's what I mean. Is like when he made it, it was just probably a background document to help him flesh out Lord of the Rings. And
Well,
so,
yeah, according to his children, like it was also stuff that was like thrown out of the publisher, like thrown out of the books from the publisher.
yeah,
The stuff he wanted in his actual books, a lot of those stories were supposed to be
hmm,
like there's one about the hobbits being invaded. That
yeah,
was actually supposed to be in Lord of the Rings.
sure, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm kind of saying is like
Yeah,
this may not be part of the main part of the story, but it is part of the story.
right.
And it's just not going to be part of the comics that I make when I make them. That's all. So the more I was thinking about it, the more I was like, oh yeah, I guess this is kind of in similar vein to the Cimmerillion.
Oh wow. Okay. So, little update. Apparently, they changed some things. So me and Bill now have to submit our DMV records or our motor vehicle driving records to our adoption agency for the state.
Good heavens.
Yeah, they want to make sure that our driving record is good.
Like I said, wish they'd do that for some of the parents in the real world out here. Because, like, the stuff you guys are going through, it's super, super, super detailed. And I can appreciate it, but it does still kind of like, wow, that is amazingly detailed information they need.
Well, the one good thing that came out is even though like we were told no marijuana, no marijuana products, including like products like CBD and stuff that doesn't have THC,
Right.
um, the state has decided to allow adoptive parents the ability to do that. We now just have to have a safety plan for when those things are in our home.
Yeah.
But like for me and Bill, like we don't use those
Right.
for recreational. We use it just to like go to sleep.
Right.
So
Which makes sense.
yeah, it's just like a really weird. It's a really weird thing.
No, I mean, it sounds good to me.
Um. So, yeah.
Do they make you have a safety plan for alcohol?
Actually, yeah,
That's good.
yeah. I mean, we don't really have to worry about it. The only alcohol that we have in our home right now is Grand Marnier, and that's the only reason why I do that is because I use it for flavoring.
Yeah, for cooking.
Yeah,
It wasn't really what I was after. I was just wondering if they were being that detailed about
I mean,
alcohol as well.
they come in our house once a year, and they look through things. They look at our house. They see what it's like.
Wow.
I mean, if they saw beer bottles and like empty wine containers or whatever, they would be concerned that one of us is an alcoholic
Right.
or both.
Or both of
Who
you.
knows? They may just drop by,
Yeah.
surprise inspection. I don't know. No, actually, they won't. They always announce.
Announce their inspections.
Well,
Still,
yeah,
it's
'cause we have to.
amazingly detailed on that one. I mean, just like
Yeah,
I'm amazed at how much they go through How much of the sort of a dance they're going through.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing to me. I'm glad. I mean, I
Hmm.
am definitely very glad. It is certainly good to know that they're checking on the children, but the thing that always amazes me is I didn't have to go through any of that, which to me
Most people
sounds
don't.
like either I should go through all of that or you shouldn't be going through this much. One of the two. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I understand what you mean.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to go through it. It is parts of it is quite annoying though.
Hmm.
Mm.
All right. I'm suddenly very much aware of how much she looks like Min May. I am taking old characters and resurrecting them. So I'm
Gotcha.
pulling old artwork from my early days in doing all of this because this is kind of becoming my magnum opus. Electric's Rising is. So I'm throwing all the characters from all of my previous story arcs and things like that into here. It's sort of like this potpourri of my characters.
You should make like a cat-like beings that are based off of some of those old drawings that I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I should.
The one with the '80s hairband,
80s hairbands. Yes. Yes.
and like have them have the '80s hairband hair
Yeah. Yeah.
with cat ears.
Well, like I said, she's starting to look very Min May esque, which makes
So
sense. That was where I was when she was being invented, so to
yeah,
speak.
I am trying to put some stuff together right now so that I can look for work again. So I did have someone contact me yesterday, but I don't know if I want to go back into the world of TCGs.
Right. I don't blame you on that one.
Still haven't, like, I talked to him. The guy's nice enough, so I gave him a price, and he seemed very good with it. But like, then he's like, I could just have one or two of your artwork, and that was it. And I was like, I feel like I would bankrupt you with my pricing.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable setting you up to fail. And like, that's like one thing that we don't talk about enough as artists. When we see the writing on the wall for people who contact us for commissioned artwork,
Mm-hmm.
like, we don't talk enough about the fact that some of us are like really considerate and basically find it uncomfortable if we know we're going to actively hurt your bottom line
Mm-hmm.
with what you want to do. I don't- Is that just me, or am I just being like obtuse with my thoughts?
Well, I mean, no, I mean I don't know. It always makes me wonder or think about those things quite a bit because for me, I mean, obviously we need to get paid.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm changing careers now is because I wasn't getting paid a lot,
Mm-hmm.
not enough to support a family. So there has to be a certain amount of, how do we charge enough for it? Do we not charge enough? What do we do? And some of it has to be on them, in my opinion. Okay, I'll charge you $100 a piece or whatever. If you need 60 pieces, that's $6,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it goes.
Right.
And if
it's always great when someone comes up to you. It's always great when someone comes up to you and goes, I would totally want 60 pieces for $6,000 from you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. But I also feel like, that's on them if they don't have the money for it. The only problem I've got is that I think where you're coming from, and I concur, is that they'll get into the fray and then realize they don't have the $6,000 to give you.
Right.
And then it's, can you help us and work here a little bit on this? Can you bend a little on this one?
Yeah,
and then you have to start saying, we can't.
It's how many boundaries do you want to push about your career boundaries before it becomes, okay, no, I've done too much to basically continue with this. But, realistically, I'm debating. The guy was very nice, and I do like his idea.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I'm still debating in my head because it's another Pokemon-esque type style, and I don't necessarily he likes my scenery work. So if I don't do any characters or anything like that, but just did background scenes for card art.
Yeah.
Just basically, if you're into Magic the Gathering, those are the land cards.
Mm-hmm.
He would want me to do stuff like that. So I'm that's not a bad idea.
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
But also at the same time, I don't know if it's just two of them, that, am I really contributing? Am I actually going to be something that someone can actually feel I'm putting in the effort like other people?
Right.
I don't know. I have a lot of things in my head right now. One thing is I want to basically get comic book work, which for most people who don't know, comic book work, outside of individual artistry, where it's one-off commissions where you can make a lot more money.
Right.
Comic book work is not that much money. It's actually way less.
Yep. It's true.
I think my first comic gig I got $10 per page.
Woo! Yeah, now the going rate's $100 a page.
Yeah, and now, when that same publisher, if that same publisher came back to me and I gave them my updated rates, I would be considered as a back burner artist.
Mm-hmm.
Because they won't be able to afford that price.
Right.
And it goes back into what I was saying before, what we don't talk enough about when people basically have to make considerations on budget so they can afford to print the products that they are trying to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but no, I have some stuff going on at deal. I guess I went and I got these wonderful Pentel matte pens, which make me feel like I don't know. You remember in the 80s and 90s those felt towels?
Yes.
The
My
ones that
mom
had
used
like,
to use those a lot.
yeah, and like they, for some weird reason, like you can see through the paper on the other side that you haven't written on, but it's not so see through that it like bleeds through.
Yeah.
I was fascinated with these pens when I was a child because I saw kids using them on screen, like on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, ooh, yay! And then I found them. Well, they came out with with a set of them, and they're all scented.
Scented?
Yeah, they're scented.
Okay.
Yeah. So, where did I put it? Hold on. I have it. So, okay. So it's instead of, never mind. I got the company incorrect. It's Papermate.
Oh yeah, Papermate. Oh yeah. They're scented?
Yeah, they're scented.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested here.
Yeah, they're scented. This is the pack that you get from Costco. So you basically like there's, yeah, like it's very weird. They each have their own scent, but some, like apparently they're scented. The one I picked up is like scented like Sunday brunch.
Uh-huh.
So like I don't know the scents, but they're all according to Sunday brunch. So
There you go.
I also cleaned up my office in January too. I got rid of my old art desk. It was time. It was time.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to do here. I started doing it a couple of days ago and then gonna have to continue on. But yeah, that's the same thing for me. I was like, about time for me to do something in this office here and clean it up. So I hear that.
Now, I also am experimenting with getting prompts from OpenAI or ChatGPT, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Just to try to get my mind going back into artwork.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I've kept my subscription to Midjourney. I got when Kan and I were, when it first came out, Kan and I spent a few shows here just kind of dinking with it and messing with it and kind of exploring it. And we both came to the conclusion that as an inspiration tool, it's not bad. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
That if you're using it to just sort of spark some ideas, give yourself a pose or two that you need to kind of work with, or you just kind of make it operate, it's not bad. I mean, obviously, if you were to use it and then say, I did this, it doesn't go over so well.
Right.
But yeah, we were kind of, so I've kept that Midjourney account active because every so often I would go in there and just poke around. I mean, honestly, I think that the creativity part of it, of all of this, is always going to be the AIs. The people who will use AI are people who are trying to cut corners or whatever.
Well, I'm not trying to cut corners. Like the one thing
no,
that
I didn't mean that. What I was trying to say was like people,
just,
big companies, you know.
Right. No, I'm no, I know who you were insinuating.
I was
Don't worry about
insinuating
that.
somebody, not us.
I know who
But
you
I
were
guess what I was
referring
trying to say was what you're
Yeah.
doing, I feel like is a good thing to do. You know what I mean? Use it to
Right.
spark, get it started.
Yeah, so essentially what it is I asked for a ghost story inspired by H.P. Lovecraft style of writing.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No. Sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah.
That's something that maybe would be a fun thing to do sometime as a challenge for us. Just, pull up a prompt somewhere and have it give us a prompt, and then we have to make it work,
Yeah.
Because that could be a lot, but that's the same thing. That's sparking us. You know what I mean? That's not
Right.
using it to replace. It's just sparking something, making it run a little,
Yeah.
I like that.
So basically what I've been doing is I've just been so I'm mapping out the pages right now. Pretty much. I took like each paragraph and I have part of each paragraph like kind of broken down into pages. And then when I go to actually start like doing something, I'm gonna just take this and as a base, expand what I want on each page. That's where I deal. So like if someone looks at the script part of what I'm doing, they won't see the generated AI prompt.
Right.
They'll see, okay, no, this person has written this about this and this about this, and I have no dialogue in my story, so I would probably be inserting dialogue. So it's one of those things of it's inspired by a prompt. But I'm not doing this for money. I'm literally doing this project. This project is literally so that I can put together a thing for people to see as far as like art goes. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah. See. Yeah. How long? Actually, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay, I'll be here. Dang it.
So, sorry about the short intermission.
No, it's fine.
Uh, uh,
All right.
The funny thing is when I was thinking about the prompts,
Mm-hmm.
and I said style. So part of me is worried a little bit that I will unfortunately like draw something someone has already written,
Right.
and then I had to remind myself, no, I'm not doing this for money.
Yeah. You're doing it for practice. It's totally fine.
Yeah. And someone like, because like some part of me feels like, oh no, like I feel like this could totally be like monetized, like all this other stuff. But I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I also did. I wanted to also state that I did another kind of prompt,
Mm-hmm.
and that one is in this form. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but it sounds interesting because I had it write it. It's like a 5-chapter mini novel.
Hello, Bill.
Messages from Bill. So it's like a 5-chapter mini novel with an epilogue.
Okay.
And it's a murder mystery.
It is a murder mystery. Okay.
So it was funny. It was just like, it was really funny. And then I have like another one where I just was like, tell me a story about a intense thriller or supernatural, like a suspenseful thriller of a kid moving to a small New England town. And I got one.
That's cool.
But it has like no imagination to it, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I
it's
definitely
pretty dry.
fill in blanks here.
Usually the things that are written out are pretty dry. Yeah, I've noticed that.
So,
how you doing, Bill?
Not too bad. You have to come out here at some point. I need to show you all the cool technology things I do to the house.
I want to see it. Yeah, the problem I've got now is that since about July, I have work on every weekend now. So I'm not coming up to Fort Collins to do the Fort Collins thing. But I might take next March, the March 1st, or the first Saturday of March, and clear that, and then come up there and do the normal things that we've done every so often.
Okay, cool.
That seems like a thing that might be fun to do. Come visit with you guys, hang out for a little bit, have, lunch or whatever. Do our thing that we do.
Well, I
do miss you guys.
I can tell you, if you come up to our neck of the woods and we go somewhere in Loveland, we have places that we now have established that we go to a lot.
Good.
So I think you'll like our selection.
Yeah.
I mean, it also depends if your kid is with you or not. So.
No, kid won't be with me usually because kiddo's not that hot on the traveling or going with me. We're in that part of teenagerdom where it's like, why would I want to hang out with dad?
Pulling away from the parents.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
We're fighting it a little bit, but one of the things we are able to do is watch movies together and TV. So that's good because that's connecting. It connects both of us. But it is still kind of like, it's still frustrating. I'm like last night, my buddies just decided on a spur of the moment to go to a sports bar and watch the sports game because the superb owl that was on last night. So we watched it because it's fun. My mom was a big Bronco nut, and I grew up with Sundays being sacred days because the Bronco game was on. And so I speak fluent football. Like I can watch, I even know what the refs are doing when they signal things, you know what I mean? Like they'll signal a holding call, or they'll signal a false start or whatever, and I know what that means. I know the symbols and stuff like that, but I really don't care. It's like it's not, but I do like the ambiance. So we were doing that, and I was trying to convince the kiddo to go with me, and no. Okay, that's fine, but it's becoming entertaining in a way. But I'm also now I'm embroiled in school, and that's really interesting, fascinating. I don't think I'd seen you guys since all of this went down, but I'm now going to university here in town. You knew that I went for the big university, and they sort of turned me away because they said, we can't look at your Westwood transcripts at all. And so the only information we have about your GPA was when you were here in 1992, and you were a 2.0 student, and we can't admit you at 2.0. And I said, yeah, but when I was in Westwood, I was a 3.45, and I was on the dean's list. And they're like, yeah, we can't look at that. So we have to assume you're a 2.0. You need to go somewhere else and prove that you can do better than a 3.0. And I was like, okay. So I joined the local university, which I'm not going to say open air, but you know, the local university near here. And I was like, well, I guess I'm starting all over again as a freshman and everything like that. And then all of a sudden they said, well, we're going to take 90 credits of Westwood and move it over. So you only have to finish the anthropology side for your degree. So it's all anthropology classes. I'm in an archaeology class, a biology class, and a cultural anthropology class. And then, of course, I have to take an extra 15 credit hours to graduate, because you have to have a minimum of 45 credit hours, and I only had 30 left. So I had to add 15, so I threw Japanese back on there. And so this time I'll finally get fluent with that stupid language, because I've only been trying to learn it for 30 years. And though I got to a point where I could communicate in Japan, I know I was speaking like Yoda, and I want to stop. I want to clean that up. But I was super excited about that. That was really cool.
I just thought that the way that you spoke in Japanese was, you know, like a junior high girl.
Yeah, that's what my friend kept saying. You use all the language pieces of a junior high girl mixed with the principal. It's like those are the two people I hung out with while I was there, because in the English classes, the girls did more English work than the boys did. So all of my after school clubs were always just a bunch of girls, because the guys were like, I don't want to do that. I want to go play baseball or something. You know, it's just like really funny. So yeah, the language I picked up, the slang language I picked up was junior high girl slang language. It was very funny, which is cool to now be in an actual structure class where, you know, the professor's up there on the board saying, here's what the structure looks like. You need to do and I'm like, oh, that's why they were saying that, you know, or whatever, you know. I had a structure point last week where he wrote it up on the board, and I was like, oh, I now know why all the teachers were saying that. And he's like, well, this is kind of an imperative thing. Where did you hear that from? And I'm like, my teacher is telling the kids they had to do stuff. And he was like, yeah, that's an imperative. All right. So like I learned the imperative form structure, and then realized, oh, that's the teachers telling all the kids, get moving, stop hanging out in the hall, get to class, you know, that kind of stuff, in that sort of order sort of way. And Japanese is a very soft language. So when he went through that, he's like, you got to be careful using this, because this sounds like orders. And I'm like, yeah, that explains why the teachers were always saying it, because they were barking at the kids, getting them to move, you know. It's just cool. It's cool to get that background. I've been enjoying it. And I've been really enjoying all of my anthropology classes. Like, I now, that's what I was saying is this character that I'm doing here, Bill, is going to be my cultural anthropologist. She left Earth just after Earth got destroyed and has been going at light speed so that she only ages a couple of days, but then she drops back into the culture 50 years later. And then she does field note work on the culture. And then she gets back in her ship and goes again at light speed and then drops back down 50 years later to do more cultural research. And so I had this idea and I was like, this would allow me to A, practice writing field notes because I'm going to need to know how to do that. And B, it would allow me to expand and flesh out my culture in a way that doesn't have to be written in the comic. You know what I mean? Like, I could do it as a side note, kind of like the Silmarillion is to the Lord of the Rings, you know, just kind of all the side stories that are fascinating and interesting, but don't need to be inside a comic. They don't need to, I don't need to, oh, I really want to talk about this aspect of my culture. I'm going to have to figure out a way to squeeze this into this comic somehow, you know, shoehorn it in so I could have that piece.
Right.
Don't goofball. So that's what I'm doing here. I had that idea and I was like, oh, that's going to be fun. So, yeah, so I'm enjoying that. This is the download. I don't think I've seen you guys in a long time. So I'm like downloading all this information to you because I miss you guys. But I'm actually not doing a whole lot outside of school and work. So,
well, one thing that we've been doing is we have 2 D&D groups that come to our house every Wednesday and Thursday now.
You have who?
2 D&D groups that come to our house every Wednesday and Thursday.
You guys have gotten all into D&D. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, so if you ever need a break on Wednesday or Thursday, feel free to come up. Be here by 5:30.
That's fair. My Wednesdays are more open than my Thursdays. My Thursdays are a mess, but my Wednesdays... Right now, I ended up with 3 classes on Tuesday and Thursday and 1 class on Monday and Wednesday. So my Mondays and Wednesdays are relatively open. The problem is that my Monday and Wednesday is cultural anthropology. So that's core. It's a core class. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, this is where I'm going with my life. I need to pay close attention to that class on Monday and Wednesday. So it actually is fine that it's all by its lonesome self. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Wednesdays are much clearer than Thursdays. So that might not be a bad idea.
If you want to come up on Valentine's Day, which is this Wednesday.
Doing a one-shot.
No, the one-shot is Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Oh, that's all right. You'll have a one-shot somewhere along the line.
We have a one-shot on Thursday, but on Wednesday I can basically see, because we essentially left our party on a beach.
Son of a beach. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Where my second character in this campaign, because my first one is now out to sea, swept, holding and clutching another party member's foot.
Oh no.
That has since been detached from the body.
That has been detached from his body.
Sounds horrible.
So I had to make a new character who is out to try to find my original character.
Right.
It's damn Akuatoa.
That's awesome.
So the first character was a Kenku.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm playing an Eladrin.
Huh. Okay. I think that's cool.
I have to get back to work. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do this Wednesday, but definitely I will join you guys at a D&D one-shot at some point. When you have a one-shot on a Wednesday, tell me.
Okay. Will do.
And then I'll join in. It's good to see you, Bill. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yep, I'm going to have to go here in about 4 minutes, speaking of classes.
No! Okay.
Yeah, I can't go over anymore. Which makes some sense. And I'm not at all complaining about my life choices at this point in time on this one.
Well, the only time I can really complain about life choices is when you make questionable life choices.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I like that better. Give her a little bit more of that trim that kind of goes around the rest of her outfit. So, I mean, yeah, I think I'm happy also with my cultural anthropologist here. She's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Give her sort of a semi 70s sort of thing going for her.
You should feather out the hair more.
Yeah, feather out that hair a little bit more. Give
Start
it kind
tossing it up.
right. Yeah, somewhere out there, I'm gonna have to alter it at some point. Somewhere out there is the actual picture that I did of this character back in 1990. I want to say maybe 1989. And when I find that, I'll come back and retro this picture a little bit more.
Mhm.
So she's just what I remember her looking like. But I mean, it's been 30 years since I've seen this character. So I don't remember what she's, it's, I don't have the feel anymore. There's
Gotcha.
a feel that comes with characters, and I've lost the character's feel. So I don't know where she exists in my head, but she exists somewhere. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. I love just kind of thinking these things through and stuff like that. Such a big world that's starting to develop underneath Bellatrix Rising that I'm kind of glad I did this piece, because this will help flesh that world out.
Okay.
So
Cool. Cool.
yep. So she was born in Camden, Maine. I just picked up, and I opened up a window, or opened up a browser, and just said interesting cities in Maine. I just picked Maine at random. I was like, and then so Camden apparently is a city in Maine. So she's almost 40. Not quite. Almost 40. Relative age. Because, of course, really, technically now she's going to be 500. But
Yeah.
she's really relatively 40. Because she keeps hopping into relativistic speeds.
Mhm.
That's a science fiction-y concept in and of itself. Just that by itself, having an anthropologist that jumps forward every 50 years using space travel as the time machine, so to speak.
Mhm.
Wonder how sad she'd be, at the end of each one of these. It's been 3 years, and she spent 3 years kind of studying the environment and the culture and making notes on things, and getting to know people, and then she has to get back into her ship and
Yeah.
fly off again, and she knows that the next time she jumps down, those people won't be here anymore.
What would be interesting if she had stated that she followed the life of one particular person.
Mm-hmm.
She saw them be born.
Yeah.
Then saw them, then documented like certain things.
Yeah.
And then came back and saw that same person later on.
At 50 years old or whatever. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
That would be. Especially if, she would have things like, she'd have stories where her buddy would be Joe Smith, and then she'd hop, Joe Smith has a baby, and then she gets to see the baby and go, oh, the baby's so awesome. And then she jumps again and comes out, and Joe Smith's been dead for 35 years. The baby is now 50, and saying, oh, yeah, Dad used to talk about you all the time. It'd be like this. That'd be so strange,
Right.
And that would be, but I agree with you. That would be a fascinating thing to explore.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to explore just that thought process of, her personal. She's going to have field notes, but she has to have a personal log as well, which she will upload to the system.
Right.
Every time she leaves, she uploads all of her notes to the science institutes before she leaves, so that they have everything she did, so that if anything happens to her or whatever. So there's this ongoing record in the science institute of her traveling through time, observing and cataloging and just recording history as it evolved and changed.
Yep.
I think that's going to be this is an interesting character. This is a fascinating character.
I think he should go to like one of the national parks, or find one of the national parks items in like a local store. And there's one that is literally labeled field notes.
Yes.
And then you walk around and like you go to like a busy place and you write down everything you see while other people are walking around.
Yep.
People will find you weird, but you will find it very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart. That's a very smart thing. I shall do something very similar to that. I have a feeling that that's probably going to be at the end of cultural anthropology this semester. You know what I mean? Like at the end, we're going to be doing field notes. And I think that's what he's looking for, the professor, when he's having us do essays on things. Like the first essay was supposed to be on, or is supposed to be on, because it's not due yet. It's supposed to be on reality TV. So he wants us to watch a reality TV show and do an analysis of it. And I think that's what he's building towards.
Analysis part number 1. This is not seeming realistic in
but
society.
what he wants us to do is, what does it say about the culture? What cultural rules are being expressed through this reality TV show? What cultural norms, rules, things like that, which is exactly what he's after. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he's talking about. And I can kind of get what he's going for. And that is, at the end, I think he's going to have us do exactly what you're talking about. Go hang out in the middle of downtown Denver with field notes and just write down what we see or whatever. I have a feeling that's what's going to end up happening.
Well, if you want a more interesting place in Denver, you should always go to Estes Park, because tourists love that place.
Right? You're not wrong.
No.
So.
And it's Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yep.
Right there.
Right there.
So, like, once you're done with your assignment, you just go straight into the park.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
That's a good idea. I'm saving my character as a character preset.
Gotcha.
So. Because I'm gonna have to shut down here in a minute.
Okay. Well, within that last minute, what reality show are you going to do? Vanderpump Rules?
I was going to do something in either Japanese or Korean, because I would like to pull out of our culture a little. I asked him if that was okay, and he said yes. So,
what reality shows do they have?
Oh, they've got all kinds of wild stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to go see what's going on now. But when I was there, that was one of the things I would do, is just flip through channels going, well, that's weird. And that's weird too. I know Knockout was a game show that was over there that came here. Well, like Takashi's Castle was one where they bring people in and they had to do all these weird, bizarre things.
Gotcha.
All
right. Well, I'll let you go.
It was good to see you, Pepper. I'm so glad to have you here today. Thank you.
I may join you tomorrow. I don't know yet.
Tomorrow I won't be on in the day.
Okay.
Because on Tuesdays and Thursdays now I have classes all day.
Yeah.
My Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are still open, so I might be back on Wednesday. I will be back on Wednesday.
Well, due to health reasons, mainly mental health reasons from Bill, I can't stay up all night anymore. So
No, I'm just saying I'll be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings.
okay.
It's just that Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in the middle of my Japanese class right now on Tuesdays and
Okay.
Thursdays.
All right.
So,
Well,
phew.
I say bye. This is the longest goodbye.
It's good to have you with me, my friend. I just need
All
to
right.
click all the right buttons. I'll see you later.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Keep your eyes on the stars. Bye.